A potentially historic worldwide protest is happening today. Tens of thousands of global climate strikes are planned in more than 150 countries and 3,500 locations, and one of them is right here in Denver. Eddie Randall is live outside Union Station. And Eddie, that's where the march, one of them, starts this morning.
Yeah, that's right, Corey. That march is going to start at 11 o'clock right here, Union Station. They'll then march down 16th Street Mall and end at the state capitol. Marchers want to march down there and they want their voices to be heard, and they have a list of demands for lawmakers. They want them to be able to get rid of, fossil fuels by the year 2030. There are dozens of organizations that are following through all of this here in Colorado, and hundreds that are doing the same thing across the country and throughout the world. Ben & Jerry's will close their doors for part of the day to allow their employees to strike. Companies like Burton and Patagonia will be shutting down both their online and physical stores. Over 6,000 websites are also striking, donating ad space and posting on social media. And Amazon employees are speaking up against their company in the first walkout at Amazon's Seattle headquarters. More than 1,400 of them are planning to strike, also wanting zero emissions by 2030, but adding an end to custom web services for fossil fuel companies, and no more funding for politicians and lobbyists who deny climate change. Today's strike will start a week of climate action events in Colorado. You can check those out on our website, 9news.com. Everything will start here at 11 o'clock. Now, we do know that there are students that want to take part in these walkouts, so we did reach out to some of the districts. Jefferson County Public Schools and Dougco do not have school today. DPS says that they have let families and staff members know about the possibility of walkouts. They do want to stress that if students do leave campus without an accompanied adult or a staff member, it will be counted as an unexcused absence. Natasha.